Um, Hello. Let's have a bit of a stream after quite a long while. And it's gonna be quite a different stream from the ones that we've had lately, or the last streams that I had, that we are on a specific project. So this stream, it's gonna be about different kind of projects and teams and skills that I'm interested in, and I'm making this kind of what would you call this? I want to make some kind of picture that indicates like my interests, and let's get. I'm gonna have this to be kind of a title, so we're not gonna have a border. How do I get? I'm not still like too familiar with. Can I just remove it like this now? So I'm doing this with Google Slides, and I'm not. Do you just put transparent there? Yeah, I wanted to do this with. I've been doing a lot of this kind of like sketching with Krita, and I tried this. Like lately, I also tried this Inkscape software, but at least for this like particular project, like both we are quite poor at. If I want to do this kind of graph where there are these kind of like connecting things that are connected with this kind of lines and stuff, and also like just this that I had like text boxes in on itself that were easy to move around, so that you don't, and also that you don't have to like create the box around the text like how somehow separately. That turned out to be like not really work out. I'm gonna check out this. Okay, let's go there. Yeah, I think so at least for now I'm like doing this here. It would be kind of like maybe this is like maybe part of the thing that I have here on my kind of like skills area that I want to develop, like maybe like regarding infographics and graphic design that I'd use like Krita for. Like it would be like kind of like nice to find like one, like in addition to like doing this statistical standpoint with ggplot and stuff, like to have this kind of thing where you can draw and have this kind of like items it would be nice that if there was just like one software, like, but maybe it is that I kind of like, for example, this thing that I'm doing now, it just seems hard to do with like Inkscape or Krita, and I could add Krita here because yeah, but this like with this like PowerPoint style thing works pretty well. So I think it's quite okay, but I'm just a little bit like surprised that they're not having those in those kind of like I don't know what do you call those softwares like Inkscape and Krita. I'm kind of like surprised that they don't have this kind of things going on. Yeah. So this centered. So yeah, I'm just gonna like mark these a little bit better, and I think I want to change some colors around. Like I think that's the worst part with this Google slide thing, that I think the coloring options, or like especially if you want to try out some like color combinations and stuff like that, it's I think it's just a lot more tedious. Although I'm not sure, it might turn out okay. But yeah, I would like to have a little bit more, I don't know, muted colors or something like that, and I'm not sure if how well can I manage it around there. Yeah, it's also that there's no layers, I think. So when I'm selecting stuff, I think it's a little bit more. You cannot like and at least I think there are no layers, but I'm not quite sure. There's only like slides. But there could be layers as well. Yeah, maybe it would be too much. Yeah, just trying to see if I can. Yeah, it's gonna change those colors. I think that's fine. Just trying out some different colors here. That would be. So it's always like a balance between how readable it is and how kind of like it's not like too aggressive either. I think we are kind of like missing here in this kind of like palette. There's no because I kind of like these very bright colors, but there's no. Then it kind of goes like into like two. What would you call this? Like natural colors and stuff. There's like there really isn't like maybe like too good. Like maybe this could be okay. Like I'm wondering, is there like a good enough compromises here? Yeah, it's a little bit dull on the other hand. So yeah, I'm not sure. It could work out that those bright colors could be okay, but I also have to. I want to get these colors. They are just oh, just gonna go back here. Just want to get these colors to like these are now like there's a clear difference. Like these are very kind of like muted. So let's go for now. Let's go with this kind of like bright stuff. yeah, I think at least for like this stream, it's kind of like important that they kind of like pop from there. But yeah, we cannot use this color because we already used this for those connectors, and I gonna also want to have the color palette to be a little bit kind of like restricted. It kind of gets tricky here. Let's see if we find yeah, it's also here that it doesn't update in real time on the picture. It's a little bit annoying. I don't really know. So let's have some kind of red here. I'm not sure. So what if we have this? Yeah, that's quite it's like quite aggressive. I don't really like the orange one, but let's do that for now. These are at least that these are like the main purpose of them being like distinct and clear. I think this does that thing quite well. So what I kind of want to do, I was thinking about like having this picture in this like now kind of like 1:1 image ratio, like 1080p to 1080p. I think that's, if you kind of like want to have it on social media, I think that should work quite okay. So it's kind of like not horizontal and not vertical. It's kind of like a balance. What I want to do is, I think I can have the text to be smaller. Like this is the kind of thing that you don't have to be able to read it from your mobile phone without zooming. So we're gonna allow for that. So let's, I wonder if I can just do it like this. But yeah, it's not gonna, because it's taking all of those at least I don't, like, is there a, like, what is there a way to like choose all of the text or something like that if I want to change these text sizes? And what I also want to do is I think I want to make all of these thinking like if I'm still not also like quite familiar with this selection. Okay, I think that works fine. Like here, is there a way to set like if I had all of these boxes, like, is there a way to set like make them have like equal width and make the boxes have like so that they're in line with each other. There some kind of composition effects here. Not quite sure. This doesn't do anything. Yeah, that's just for the text. There isn't anything for the boxes, I think. Like, yeah, this would be easier with Krita, for example, but again, at least I haven't. It doesn't. I think I don't. I don't think it's possible to have those. Like text boxes with boxes around them. So something that I also want to do is I kind of want to. I would like to maybe have here on the left hand side like here maybe to have some kind of like a separate area of text that has some kind of like if I was paid to do some of this stuff, like how I would prefer to be paid to do this stuff, something like that. Just gonna make these boxes smaller. And here also like I want to indicate like what kind of projects these projects are in this project column. So like for example, if this is a website project, so have like some kind of this kind of indicator. I'm just like wondering like how do I, what's this box, like what would be a good way to place these like if I put them in there inside the box, then for some cases they're gonna overlap with the text text boxes. Oh, it seems annoying to try to pick up the text box from there. But if I put them outside, like here where they don't overlap, then it's just like, is it hard to make the connection? Okay, this is connected to that one. Maybe it's not if it's gonna like attach better. And yeah, I would have these maybe in the same color. But maybe somehow change this a little bit. It could be like it's bolded or something like that, or it's a smaller font, or I don't know, something. Okay, yeah, I think I want to have these kind of like titles here described a little bit better. And these could be actually, they could look better actually if it's left aligned, and to have these next row in a smaller font. Okay, here like something like that. Can have these to be a little bit lower. I want to leave some space for these. It could also be that this top row. Can I have like top row? Like these could be centered. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not quite happy with it, but I think like with all of this stuff, it's kind of like tricky. Maybe with this Google Slides, that it's. I think it's a little bit harder to create some kind of things that if I want to change something, later, if I don't have like a full vision yet of how this is gonna look, it's kind of like hard to make those kind of things that you can then just change like multiples at once, or change their how they're laid out, but rather you always have to change them manually. So that's kind of like tricky, because a big part of it is like this is like trying out what works, and if it's a little bit of work to like try out stuff, yeah, that can be annoying. How can I get rid of the? There's like an extra. Okay, yeah, that's. So what I'm also thinking is like there's this in this project column here. I'm kind of like thinking like, do I want to have a separate text document in addition to this, where I explain these projects, because there's kind of like challenge to try to have this tell enough about a certain project by just like having a title and connecting it to like what kind of skills I want to do, what kind of skills is it related to, and or what kind of teams is it related to. And I'm not gonna like want to write here too much either. So I'm gonna like thinking, if I have here what you see on the black background there, if I have this kind of text, if I could have on the like indicate on the text the different projects. So let's see, like I have this first one here. Let's have a little bit better. How do I connect? So this in the black background would be then a kind of like a blog post or text on some website that is connected to this graph. So in the graph, I would have a link maybe written out that would lead into this text document, and I could have here somehow I'm thinking kind of like if I have here like a website like this reads. So this could be like a and this could be like B. So maybe have it like this way here. So this would be now in parentheses that it's a website. Something like that. But it's a little bit tricky. Can I make these a little bit smaller? So I think the biggest issue with this approach, like writing stuff about each of these different projects, is that it's, I don't know, it's quite a lot of it can be like quite a lot of, even if I just want to write like one paragraph per each project. I think that has also like a chance to become like very long paragraph, or I kind of like want to express like clearly enough what the project is about and why it is interesting, and making like somehow like conveying that clearly enough. It might take some time, especially if I'm not like too certain about like what the project is about. So like can it take like too much time to like, especially I like have, in addition to these that I have here, just like 7-8 here, I have like maybe a few other ones in my mind as well. But if I like commit to this that I'm gonna write a sentence on each of these, that might kind of like increase this kind of threshold to by which I take new kind of like this project to this, if I include them in the graph or not. And I was also thinking that it might, this kind of thing, it might take more space here vertically, but I'm not sure if it's such an issue. It depends on like how small I can make of these boxes. It might be able to make them quite small. So that I can fit many of these here, even if I it's kind of annoying with how these behave. Like there's also like one thing in general with this, if I have this approach, and also with like having these, if I have like these skills or whatever that I want to like having like different teams. There might be that like I find some of these to be more more interesting to me than the others. But it seems quite tricky to, I don't know if I want to somehow indicate which one of these are do I like find more interesting than the others. Because that, I think that makes it that brings even more to think about, like, because then I have to decide on that kind of ranking. But then I also like, on the other hand, I gonna like lose some information that I could convey, and it's a problem with the more stuff I have here. The more like if there's like big differences between some of these the more it can kind of like convey a little bit wrong idea of what I'm like actually like interested in. I do like this, that I think these kind of like connecting lines, they work pretty well. Like if I have these, especially these that kind of like are these curves. I think it looks nice that I have like this kind of like, because I have these square shapes here, so that in addition to those I have these more rounded shapes. Okay. So yeah, let's see if there's like some of these to add, and also like think about some if I want to how I want to indicate these these like if I want to get paid and how. Yeah, there's one interesting thing here that I'm been kind of like struggling with a little bit. I want to make this kind of website on Shiny. I had those earlier streams about this, and yeah, I want to do it with Shiny, and yeah, I have also like this ggplot2. Yeah, so I did some like vibe coding with ChatGPT for that, and so I'm gonna like now I'm still a little bit like unsure if I how do I how should I think about the ChatGPT code, or how correct is to do this kind of vibe coding stuff. And I'm like one thing that kind of like is not so bad in this case is that the stuff it's because it's basically like calculating some math stuff and produces the result as an output. So you can like then pretty clearly kind of like see if it has done the calculations correctly. So, or you can like calculate it by yourself, like make some example. Weird behavior here. Make some example calculations by yourself and see if the program kind of like has the same results. So I think, and I don't know, yeah, and maybe maybe the bigger one is that if I use the ChatGPT, like how much like do I kind of like have to understand the code fully everywhere? Do I take that for myself as a requirement? And that's also like helps in this case that if there are like some cases where it might make errors that are not like like easy to spot or something. Okay, let's see about that funding thing now, because it's kind of like maybe the last big addition here if I want to have it. So Um, I'm also gonna make this one here. I think it's kind of like good to have try to see like how many connections are there gonna be. It's also about like what's the order of having these things here around, so that there's it could remain some kind of readability. And like in general, like one thing that a little bit concerns me about this project or making this kind of image is that maybe I'm still quite like how often am I gonna how often do I want to add some stuff here? Like how often do I want to like make new versions of this graph? Or there's like one option is also to, if I have a link to the website where I have like, because I might need it for this kind of texting, so it could be that it's there's like an updated version of the image there. So then I don't have to kind of like post it so often or something like that. But it's still like it just might become like this kind of thing where if I have like a new project in my mind that I might want to do, so is there gonna be again like some kind of mental threshold about adding it because it requires updating the image, and that might be quite I don't know how laborious it's gonna be, but yeah, there's just like a and it's also like in general like I kind of like have to indicate in one image what I'm interested in, and it's always a compromise of like what's dropped out and which of these projects or teams is there. It's not like a priority, but it's kind of like just made the cut or something like that. But having made the cut, it's kind of yeah. This is the same thing that I actually talked before. That having made the cut, it's kind of like in the same on the, on the same line as the as all the other stuff in the image as well. And but I still think like even if even if there are those kind of like issues, it's it might still be better than nothing to have like stuff like this, do like this kind of project. But I'm not sure. So yeah, I don't know how. Yeah, so like maybe maybe the kind of like dream regarding this like funding preference, kind of like a dream would be some kind of what do you call this? Yeah, some kind of like crowdfunding. And then there's grants. Funding. Yeah, like one thing again here is that if I want to have this box like a one, it's a bit tricky thing here. Is that like if it's here to the left, are the audiences gonna, are they gonna, I could have like a, like are they gonna connect it to these teams, even if I gonna like want them to connect it to all of these. Like teams, projects, and skills, all of them. So then there's like what do you call this? Okay, let's add like part-time or yeah, maybe it's a little bit tricky with the funding right now. I think I have a preference for like fixed term. Maybe also like part-time. It's a little bit, this is a little bit like different. It's gonna, it's this kind of, because there's like dimensions here, like there's like full-time work that's part-time, and then there's like or there's full-time work that's fixed term, and there's full-time work that is kind of like what's how do you like what's the opposite of fixed term, like but yeah, but there's also like a there can be like fixed term work that is part-time and not part-time, or it's like a, like how many hours a week. It's kind of like some kind of combination. I could just I'm also like thinking like what do you call, I could also add here how what do you call this, because I have like okay, maybe it's like freelance. It's like freelance work, or just like freelance. and then it's then it's kind of like could just call it like employment. If I have like there like fixed term part time as a preference, and then like fixed term full time. Just like I'm gonna check like what's the could be also like fixed term appointment here, and then below that like part time and full time, and then we can have here. You could call this like ongoing employment maybe, and under that like part time, full time. Yeah, something like that. I'm kind of like wondering, is this the like a realistic case? Nice. Okay. Yeah, it's a little bit annoying that it's taking so much time. Case of funding. Like I kind of like somehow I want to indicate indicate that I want to work on some of this stuff even if I'm not paid to do it. And Yeah, somehow it's a little bit like it's a little bit much text now, but it's good to have. Let's see if I can just can I move everything up just a bit. I don't want this to be quite. I could have these in like capitalized. Yeah, maybe also take out that it's not just about projects, but this refers to this refers to like working on the teams or skills as well. It's a it's a little bit tricky now, like how to best fit this. I'm also thinking like if I can manage to bring everything up here, like I think here on the right hand side as well, then things can be made we don't need this much space for things, not quite as much, so you could then fit this like okay, this could also be, I think this one I could have a smaller font. That would maybe require that it's a bit different color so that it's more readable. I'm not quite sure what color. Maybe it could be something that's redder than we have. It doesn't. Yeah, that could be like one interesting way. Like it doesn't have to follow the same. It doesn't have to be as I don't know colorful as the other ones. That could be a kind of like way to distinguish from the other stuff. And I think like having it as red and not like some shade of green, it kind of like helps to disconnect it from the themes section so that it can be from some of the other topics as well. I'm also thinking like, do I want to add some kind of choice for like whoever sees like I think one goal here, like there's maybe like several goals. But I think like one goal, like okay, funding is one goal. Maybe one goal is also to find collaborators on some of the projects. And maybe third goal is for the people to they can indicate which of these projects do they think are the most important, or kind of like which projects should I focus on if they had a say on it. And I'm kind of like also thinking that it could be kind of like, and that could also be like related to teams, projects, and skills, like all of these. And it would be pretty cool to have some kind of voting system that like you could so that the user could like if they have a preference on these, like if they have a preference that they think for example that I'm very good at some of these things, that I should do more of them, or if they think that some of this stuff is more important than some of the other stuff, then they could kind of like vote for that more important stuff. And of course, I don't think like there's gonna be a lot of people who kind of like see my post and then have like that could like kind of like be so involved or interested that they would give this kind of vote. And I could also just ask on the social media post. I could just like wherever I post it, I could just write a question like which stuff should I work on. But then with that, of course, there's like there's the problem with maybe people would have like would be more prone to answer if there was like if there was anonymity, and I don't know how to pronounce if it was anonymous, like yeah, sometimes people have they are like they could prefer that, and then I could just make some kind of like a Google form for polling this, and so I was thinking I could have like there, like instead of I could like here I was thinking about having those A and B things here, but I could also have yeah, I could have like numbers. I could have like a like I was thinking like okay, this is the teams would be like 100, projects would be 200, and these skills would be 300, and this would be then like 120, 120, 130, and here would be like 210, 220, 230, 240. I don't know, maybe it might get or maybe it would be that here I have like this could be like 310 these dashboards, and then I could have like 311, 312, and then it would be like 320, 321. Like for this last last row, it would work quite well, I think. This kind of thing. Yeah. So if I'm kind of like looking for feedback and funding and also like yeah, maybe also like collaboration. Yeah, that was the one thing. Yeah, so if I want to make this a bit kind of like a general form on how to contact or like of my interest and contacting me, then yeah, there should maybe I was like maybe it could be in the same if I have on the form, if I have there if I could have like the voting system there, but I could also have like an open, also within that form, like an open field on the, if you want to contact me or something like that. Or I could just have like email. Yeah, but the thing, I don't know, maybe I got a little bit. It's kind of annoying that with emails that then it might they might yeah, you could get like spams and whatever, although it might be a lot better if it's if it's in kind of like in image the email and in not kind of like in like text form. Yeah, I'm not quite. Yeah, kind of like thinking is would the voting thing be a good idea or not? Yeah, let's look at some more of this stuff, like something that I have at least to some extent considered to have as a project. Something like that. I don't really know how do these kind of, is it somehow that I have yeah, it might be that one. Yeah. Okay, I'm thinking like if I have this kind of text, is there a way to somehow connect to this? Could I like connect it to this text box somehow like this one, so that when this is moved around, then it would follow that. And I think that's like one thing that would be a lot easier with Krita or Inkscape, because there's this kind of grouping options. Let's take a look at this. Okay, there might be some kind of grouping thing. Okay, so if I have this box selected, hold shift, right click, group. Okay, let's see. No. Yeah, it might work, but it's kind of depends on. Still quite annoyed about like there's so many kind of like misclicks with selections. It's not very. No, it's not very clear. Just wondering, I could also do some writing on some of this stuff. Think about the voting stuff. Do I want to have it on here? So here, okay, I'm not happy with these ones. Maybe if I adjust like everything on the left. It's kind of. It could also be that this could be interesting. Like, if I have, I could kind of mirror what I have down there. So and if I have this to be, so I think that works best. Now I could add for each of these boxes, I could add the kind of like voting number. But yeah, the thing again with those, if I want to add that kind of complexity, it makes it more work to do any kind of updating, or if I want to add like new projects or teams, especially if it messes up the ordering of the voting. So let's say like here in the project column, the like the voting numbers would go from 1 to 9, and if I add another one, if I would add a project like, but I would want to add it in the middle, because if there was some project that I want to add in the middle, because it's related to some of the teams or skills, that so that I wouldn't have to draw so long lines, then that would kind of like break up the whole number ordering. But well, I don't know, maybe it's not such a big thing. I'm also like regarding these skills, been a little. I was thinking, like now these are like pretty somehow. Maybe these are categorized as kind of like to some extent like software skills instead of like skills on some. Because like one thing that I was thinking is like, do I want to add like stuff like economics here or something like that? That I have a degree on, and or is it can maybe also be like considered a team, or like climate change. Maybe that's like maybe it's not. Maybe it's best to like stick to this kind of like to have like the skills that are like super distinct from teams, and like skills that where you can like maybe this could be like one that everything has to have like that it's possible to add a software to that skill or something like that. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, also like I'm not. Yeah. Um, yeah, I think this. Mm, hmm. Deployment. Mm, um, just like thinking. Fixed term or ongoing. Just like trying to think like how can I. Is there like a better way to kind of like express those like 2 dimensions? I think I'm gonna end the stream